This time of year always brings back the memory of what my son and I saw in late Sept around 7 p.m. I had picked my son, age 13, up from football practice and we were heading home. We live in a very rural area and we're traveling on a small country road. We came up on old RR tracks that isn't used anymore but out of habit. I always stop still do all these years later. We were alone, no other cars behind or in front when my son said, "Mama, what is that?" It looked like a very bright light pink object about the size of a Volkswagen, hovering in front of our car about 40 feet in the air. We just stared for a few seconds when it took off further into the air, but then another one came down but light blue, same size, hovered just like the pink. One, then another one light yellow, and the last one was light green. They all started going in a circle in the sky like a Ferris wheel is the best way to describe it. My son started getting scared and begged me to go, and as we went over the track, the colorful objects did their last spin and followed each other over the trees and were gone. We were in shock and didn't understand what we saw. Still don't till this day. I pass over those same RR tracks almost daily and have never seen anything like it again. Maybe not so much paranormal, but something that has stayed with me and my son for years.
I was approximately 3 years old, and we had moved into this trailer near a cemetery. My parents had this large metal cabinet in our living room. I was sitting in the floor watching TV one night, and I could hear someone breathing in this metal cabinet. Then what I thought as the time was a green lady looked out at me from the cabinet. When I got older, I realized the lady's skin was a blue shade due to lack of oxygen. You'll never forget her face. My parents didn't believe me, but I 100% know what I saw. In October of 2005, I was locked out of my apartment and was waiting on my wife to get home. I laid back on the hood of my car, looking up at the night sky. It was cloudy, and the clouds had that brownish look to them. I saw the silhouette of a humanoid shape with wings fly above me. I assumed it was the Mothman.
A few years ago, I was dating someone and moved into a house he renovated. He always told me there were creepy markings and all before he renovated, but never told me what. He claimed to see things move, hear voices, and see things. I was sick one night, laying on our couch, and I saw a human figure, look like a shadow, walk out of the bathroom and into our kitchen. I thought he may be awake and went into the kitchen, and it was empty. The kitten we had was fixated on one spot. Then the scariest thing for me was most likely sleep paralysis. I was laying in bed one night and rolled over to face the wall, and next to the bed was a tall, lanky lady with long, dark hair. Freaked out, I rolled over to face him. Once I was facing him, I couldn't move anymore, and I felt her crawling on me. I started screaming his name, and he grabbed me and said, "Are you okay? I think you had a nightmare." That was the one and only time I experienced anything like that at all. That place definitely had something going on.
I was helping my husband house sit for his parents way back when we were first together. Known haunted house apparently because my mother-in-law had tried to get it cleansed since my sister-in-law and her dog had seen something in her old room. I get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. I don't to use the one directly on the other side of the wall where my husband was sleeping. I instead, being new in a relationship, I go to the other closest bathroom, his sister's. Well, there was no toilet tissue there because sister had long moved out. Alas, I go back to one where I can hear my husband snoring. As I'm going to the bathroom, I hear someone walk through this section of the house while simultaneously hearing the only other person there with me asleep. When I walked back to bed, I had to open doors more than I closed them. Could be elements, which put me more on edge. But then I was laying in bed with my eyes open. A shadow person-shaped figure peeked into our room and looked at me. The feeling I felt from it was, "You're new here, just checking." Ominous to see a shadow, but a friendly, protective feeling from the shadow, if that makes sense. It was not a corner of the eye experience. I was looking directly at the door frame and saw it. That experience always gave me the heebie-jeebies when I was in that area, until the grandpa passed there. Air feels different now. My sister-in-law is a biologist, and I truly don't believe she of all people would make up seeing a ghost. Neither would I because it freaked me out, but I'm also a I wanna believe kind of person.
I had a doll turn its head and look at me. The kind of doll with the glass eyes. I'm old enough to remember these dolls were the norm when I was preschool age. I never actually saw movement of the doll's head. Each time I glanced back at the doll, the head was positioned differently, more toward my side of the room. It was maybe 5 or 6 glances when the doll's head face was finally fully facing me. The owner of the doll claimed it was possessed by an evil spirit. I got up, walked to the doll, and turned its head around so it was staring at the wall behind it. I think I broke the spell because the head didn't move after that. It was firmly attached to the doll's body, so it wasn't swinging around due to gravity. Nope. Something moved that head slightly each time I looked away.
I was riding in a car with my mum at night. She let me ride in the front seat when I was a kid if we were alone. And we were on a highway somewhere, but I was maybe 6/7, so either where we were going. Although I've lived in the South most of my life, so presumably anywhere between Ohio and Virginia. Anywho, I looked up and saw a giant thing. I was looking through the front windshield and we didn't have a sun or moon roof, so what I could see looked like the underside of a big object, big enough that I could only see part. It was a dark gray metal, but it had these L-shaped and geometric lines that had little lines at the tip of the L. I could draw it better than I can explain it. I didn't say anything because I was scared, and my mom didn't say anything. She was just super quiet and staring in front of her. I wish I'd had the wherewithal to look and see if we lost any time unaccounted for or anything. But again, I was young and sheltered. I'm not sure I had even heard of aliens, but it was right over a car. There wasn't a beam of light or anything like that. It just was over our car and it was all I could see. Then it was gone. It still freaks me out to think about